Hello YouTube. Today this site is not the right site right there. The right site for USB Type-C repair is usbcrepair.com. I got a Lenovo motherboard. I'm not sure the make and model of the Lenovo motherboard. And I'm sure I fixed something like that before. The problem here is the both ports, first and the second one, are damaged. Nothing I can do about the second one, simply because I don't have those ports in stock anywhere. Two-in-ones. I mean, I'm sure they are for sale, and even if they are for sale, soldering this thing, I don't think anybody, I mean, somebody probably someplace who has nothing to do can fix it, but in the amount of time it takes me to fix this guy, I could probably fix a dozen regular ports. And again, at the prices I charge, there is again, it's not cost conscious for me to try even attempt to fix this, because it's gonna take all day, even more than that. Sometimes it takes all day to replace one of those guys as well. So here you can see it's being damaged, and I prefer to fix damaged connectors, not the ones that look good, because if the connector looks good, it usually means something on the motherboard crept out, and people think that by replacing the connector, things will work fine, which they won't work fine. I see somebody already tried to do something around here, and I hopefully nothing got damaged in the meantime. So the way to prepare the motherboard for the repair process is we need to add some light to the equation, otherwise you can't see anything here. Okay, next thing we need to do is remove the insulation. All right, and we remove the insulation like that and like that. Later on, what I want to do is I want to put that insulation back. I don't no longer flip the insulation over, because it's impossible to roll it back out. So you have to kind of all right, so this is a pain to fix, simply because we got a whole bunch of tiny filters, black filters right there. Once they follow the motherboard, nothing gonna work. And again, that's what I say on the website on the USB-C repair. Please read it before you're gonna send anything away. Simply that this is not 100% easy fix thing, because again, we got rows of filters here on this side. I see maybe some of them, two of them right here, I'm missing, probably because somebody was already trying to do something here. And again, it's never like we are the first one to work on your laptop. No, never. I mean, by the time the motherboard gets here, it goes through a dozen other people. And quite honestly, I don't know of anyone else in the world who specializes in this kind of repair to begin with, besides this guy. And the only reason I do it, because 60-70% of all work that we receive here is from computer shops, and they have to satisfy their clients, you know. So that's the reason we do the USB-C repairs as well, in addition to the regular right there power jack repairs. And we don't do them sometimes too, because right now I got like dozen of those laptops sitting downstairs, and I have no time to get to them, because again, I can do a dozen of those regular power jacks repairs in the time I can do one of those guys. Okay, so what we got? We got 1, 2, 3, 4 filters on this side. And we got this guy, LED light, that will fly off the motherboard for sure while I'm trying to take it off. The problem here is those two filters are sitting too close to the jack, so they're gonna fall off the motherboard for sure. And we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 filters here. I will show you under the microscope what I mean eventually. Here, let's try and cover this guy up. All right, let's cover this guy up. Like that. And yeah, we're not gonna be able to cover this side of filters, so at least we're gonna cover the top side. Okay, like that. Okay. All right, so good job. Did we cover the filters here completely? No, we didn't. Okay. this goes to the garbage. Let's try and get a straight piece here. All right. Let's try and do it straight. Like that, straight, okay? All right, like that. Like that, and like that. Okay, so we are able to cover the top row just fine. Here what we're gonna do is we're gonna fixate this foil here. And here we're gonna fixate everything here. And make sure that none of the filters gonna fly off the motherboard while I'm working. This is the most important step. Guys, once you lose one of those filters, it's gonna be all day, all night to put it back in place. And quite honestly, I don't get paid enough to put those filters in place, and because the rates are flat, I can't upsell the client anything, because again, there's a whole bunch of other laptops to work on, and by the time I call the client or something like that, no time for it. Simply no time. All right. And this is not a business of upselling into anything of anybody. So I'm thinking maybe something like that we're gonna be able to do. Okay, here, like that. Let's cover this guy like that. Okay. Let's cover this guy here, like that. Okay. Okay. Well, not exactly what I was looking for, but I'm thinking if you're gonna be running it like that, and like that. This side I'm sure about. This side is gonna be fine. This side, not quite confident. Also need to do something about this light, the LED light. Some people will just attack it straight, but again, I probably done more USB-C port replacements than anybody else in the world, because I think I was the first one to start, and really USB-C. I'm talking about USB-C, not USB the regular types. No, it just, again, we had to start working on those because our computer shops that send us main reason, like the main power jacks for the repair, basically were figuring that we do those as well, and I had to start to work on those too. Okay, yeah, by the way, one other thing is I'm not sure if I have this connector in stock or not, but the goal is to take it off the motherboard and see if I could match. I got hundreds of those in stock, but different types, and it takes time for me to find a one specific connector to get into this motherboard, for example. So let me try and get this guy off the motherboard. By the way, what I want to do is I want to probably insulate the neighboring part, because it's gonna be all melted. Okay, so looks good. So the goal is for me to get this guy off the motherboard. Alrighty, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add some leaded-based solder to the equation, and leaded-based solder gonna mix with the unleaded-based solder, and we should be able to get this guy off the motherboard in a heartbeat. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna flip the motherboard over. I will add a little bit more. I mean, somebody already added some solder here, but they didn't add it to the rears. The rears. All right, come on. Nope, doesn't want to go through. All right. At least the front is okay. All right. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add some flux to the rear of the connector. All right. Add some flux here. And now we're gonna boost up the temperature. All right. And we should be able to technically we should be able to lift it off the motherboard right about now. But nope. Let's flip the guy over. Okay. Looks good. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is I will remove the excess solder. Okay. Alrighty. Okay. So what I need to do is I need to add some hot air right here. Not a lot, just to keep things warm. All right. Like that. Like that. Nope, doesn't want to come out. Let's see if we can clean up the soldering points. You see, the problem here is that it has 2 rows of pins. It's possible to solder the outside row of pins, but the inside row of pins is not really easily solderable. Okay, doesn't wanna grab on into anything. So what I need to do is I need to attack it from the other side. Alrighty, let's take a look. Come on. You see, if these holes are not empty, the new jack won't be sitting properly inside. And that's gonna be a really, really, really bad situation for me. All right, can we? Well, no, still, this is not a really good hole right there. So what I need to do, I need to add some solder to this hole here. All right. So now with the new solder, I should be able to suck this guy out much better. Come on. Nope, still no luck. All right. We got another way to get this thing done. Yeah, right there it's not. All right, let's bring a much smaller soldering iron and see if we can. All right, let's warm it up. Looks like something is stuck in there or something. So those are usually the complications that arise. I mean, this is not an unfixable complication. This is just one of those complications. So I want to make sure that those guys are empty as well. Come on. All right, let's do. No. Good job. Excellent. Alrighty, let's take a look under the microscope. And you can see that the holes are empty. That's a good thing. The next good thing that we need to do is put some flux on top of that. This guy. All right, so now that we got flux on top of the, I put this guy here. Alrighty. So let's see. Alright, the reason I want to remove all of the solder from all of the traces is simply because this is leaded based solder. This is unleaded based solder. It has a much higher melting temperature than the one I'm gonna apply. I use the leaded one. The leaded is toxic, obviously, but I don't destroy the connector when I'm trying to solder the new connector in place. All right, so let's add some solder to the. All right, let's add some. No, doesn't want to add. All right, let's try and flux things up. The most important thing is not to short things up like I just did right there. Okay, so this is a mess. All right, this is a mess. Right. No, I was working so hard to clean this hole, but now it's all messed up. Yeah, you see, when it comes to this guy, it has to be really, really tiny strokes. Let's try another soldering iron and try and just add tiny bit. Still too much, but it's okay. All right. All right. Okay. Okay, looks good to me. Except this guy. This guy has too much solder on it, and I'm afraid it's gonna lift up the whole connector. So I will try and remove whatever I can from this guy. All right. And just a tiny bit. Let me just leave just a tiny bit right there. Just, that's too much. Here, just a tiny bit. Still, I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Let's try and get the extra blob out. Okay, like that. Like that. Let's take a look in 3D. Yep, looks good. Okay, excellent. Let me just make sure we're not shorting anything here. All right. No shortages anywhere. All right, let's remove all the extra dirt from the connections. All right. Good job. Let me go and try and find the connector for it. Okay. All right, so here is a new connector, which seems like it's gonna fit just fine. Yeah, looks good. Looks good. All right. So what we want to do is a whole bunch of flux. All right. I think I'm better off looking like that and see when it's gonna settle. It's gonna settle. I can't see much here. All right. Now, this is the trickiest part. The trickiest part is for this guy to be soldered to the motherboard. And the reason it's tricky, I have to add another come on. As you can see, the jack melted on the sides, the plastic melted on the sides. So the goal is for jack not to melt and for solder to kick in and solder the soldering points on the inside. I'm not so much concerned on the outside because on the outside I can always touch it up. But I'm more concerned about the inside soldering job. Let's take a look. Hopefully it's soldered fine on the inside. Let me see if... Yeah, okay. All right. Yeah, let me solder things up here. Let me solder things up here. And all right. Now keep in mind that the whole thing might not work because the second jack is broken. And sometimes I need to desolder the second jack altogether. All right, looks good. Let's see if this guy is soldered. Yeah, the outside row is all soldered. I'm more concerned about the inside row, which has tendencies not to get soldered sometimes. All right. Okay, good job. All right, let's take a look. On the bottom, we got 4 filters. 1, 2, 3, 4 that are still in place. This guy's in place, burned a little bit, but no big deal. Let's try the other side. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 filters on this side, which are all in place. What I need to do is I need to clean up a little bit here. All right. And I need to clean up on the other side as well. Alrighty. Here. Let's see, let's dry this guy out. Okay. Alrighty. Good job. Excellent. Right, by the way, the above also doesn't apply to USB Type-C connections. And those are for regular connection. Again, check all the information on USB-C. Prepare for the pricing for the replacement of the USB-C ports. All right, so this is a lint-free, so to speak, paper towel. And it doesn't show me that I have any moisture left on the motherboard after the cleanup. By the way, what's that here? I need to clean up as well. All right. So technically, if it doesn't show me that I have any alcohol left, I can safely plug in the... By the way, after we are done with those ports, make sure the tip of the cord is in ideal shape. If it's not an ideal shape, if it's crooked anywhere, just buy another cord because you're gonna break the connector in less than a week, maybe in a day or two or a month. And that's the number one reason complaint we get, is that we get the board, we send it back fixed, and people break it in about a week. And they say we did a bad job. We didn't do a bad job. It's a brand new port. The reason you break it is this guy is out of shape. It's kind of crooked. The pins inside are probably burned, or something gets shorted on the inside. So now the goal here is to see if this guy gonna work. All right. Let's see if it's gonna work. Let's see. All right. Like that. And we got the light on the motherboard on the other side. We wiggle it around. It holds the 20 volts right there. We flip the connector over. The light shows up on the other side. It does 20 volts right there and 0.5 amps. So that means it's a success. Everything should be working fine. I'm not keeping this guy connected for too long because the CPU might overheat and die. And but at least it shows us 20 volts. That means the handshake happened just fine. And we're good to go. I need to look up what make and model of this motherboard is and upload it to the internet. Thank you so much for watching. Please leave a like, subscribe, and you guys take care and have a good day. Stay safe. Thanks. Bye.